just like to start by saying that Drax for me symbolises a complete paralysis in our attempt to deal with so many things, with climate change, with our huge energy demand, with the impact that we're having all around the world importing materials, whether it's coal, which we just heard about, or biomass into this country, biomass that demands an enormous amount of land and that is depriving people of land around the world. So Drax is part of all that, and it marks a complete paralysis. We have to change what we're doing. We have to completely change our approach, and we can't just try and substitute one form of energy for another. The issue of air pollution should be very much on our minds at the moment. You've probably seen how air pollution from Paris has been blowing in this way. But of course we're all producing masses of air pollution, particulates from diesel and biofuels, which we all have to use in our cars, but the diesel is the worst. The air pollution issues are massive. When the government went for a biomass policy, it factored in quite a number of air pollution death years, as I think they called them, hundreds of thousands or even millions of them, knowing that people were going to die a few years earlier because of the particulates in the air emitted by stations like Drax burning biomass. Of course coal is bad. The point is that biomass is no better. And domestic wood-burning stoves are pretty dangerous as well, because people aren't burning properly what they put into them. And a friend of mine said that she was walking through Oxford on a misty night in winter and she could hardly breathe, and that was just wood-burning stoves. But on the subject of Drax again, the idea that a highly dangerous and combustible fuel, which is, if not properly looked after, causing a major number of fires, as we've seen, and those fires burning out of control will be even more polluting than burning the stuff in the power station, and then pretending that we can burn it in power stations and produce energy without extra impacts is just completely crazy. And if the stock exchange was reflecting real human and environmental and climatic interests, it would have crashed below the floor. It would be in complete negative state. It's just ridiculous in a way that it's only gone down 10 points on the basis of something that's merely a piece of political manoeuvring. But a real reflection of all this would see a complete change in our stock exchange, a complete change in what was making money and what was not. And we have to try and generate that change. It's really hard. I feel that there's a huge amount, we're all in denial about the level of change that we require to actually tackle these issues, to reduce our need for energy, to look very seriously all the time when we're using energy at the impacts of it and how we can reduce our use of it and how we can cut down on our energy guzzling habits as quickly as possible. We really have to do this. Look at all the cars passing by here. Look at the attempts that people have made. This requires personal change as well as regulation. But it requires very strong regulation, and this is not what our governments are giving us. And so being here today shows that we appreciate the real problem that we're up against. The fact that biomass is absolutely no substitute whatsoever for coal, and the fact that we need a major change, and we need to see those big cooling towers with their clouds of smoke that I can see in my mind's eye every time I hear the name Drax. Drax. It sounds like a monster from some cartoon comedy, doesn't it? But it is a monster. It is a monster. So we really have to work on this. And thanks everyone for being here and for having the imagination to realize that this is a crucial issue. And let's keep going. Let's keep struggling on. We have to keep this line going, and we have to persuade more and more people to join us in seeing this the way it really is. Thanks.
Yeah.